AR-15 round is facing a proposed ban.
Coming up tonight on UTVS News, we take a look at the St. Cloud Police Department's license plate scanners and what information they might be gathering. Each year, St. John taps about 1,200 maple trees and gets about 300 gallons of maple syrup. I'm here in what used to be the drive-through teller lane of this bank built in 1976. The building was sectioned into two different areas, one for city administration and one for the police department. The 2,000 square foot section for the police department only holds about 7 police officers. With the rapid expansion of the city, they're looking to add about 3 more units, which leaves little room for new officers. One of the biggest concerns is this another case of Big Brother and law enforcement gathering too much information?
To expand or build a new facility?
Yeah, that's a good question. And one of the biggest decisions for the City Council is how much money do they have to spend and over what time frame. So the upgrade project would cost about $500,000, but would only be about a 3 to 5 year fix based on the expansion of the city. Whereas a total rebuild cost, Judy said, would cost about $4 million, but that would be roughly a 30+ year fix.
So how would this project be paid for?
Yeah, like so many city costs, it depends on a lot of things and what plans are finalized, when they're finalized. But right now they are looking at gathering the funds by issuing some bonds.
Okay, thank you, Anthony.
Thanks, guys. Polarizing issues over the last few years has been that of the AR-15 and whether or not to ban it. After unsuccessful attempts to do so, there is now a proposal to ban the sale and manufacture of one of its popular types of ammunition. In the latest move in the war on firearms, there has been a proposal to ban the manufacture and sale of the popular AR-15 round, the 5.56 millimeter. The White House cited reasons such as armor piercing, and it will save cops' lives. Jason Faulkner, president of Tactical Advantage in Waite Park, helps bring those concerns into focus.
But it's not armor piercing. Armor piercing is not legal for civilians to own. It would be an armored round for the military.
What makes ammunition armor piercing, and why should it be illegal for civilians to own?
Armor piercing is normally designated to, and from what they told me, .308, 50 caliber and larger, and those are for shooting at vehicles, tanks, fortified buildings, that kind of thing.
Other reasons cited for the proposed ban are to save police officers' lives. Data taken from FBI.gov shows that there has been 1 police officer death related to the use of 5.56 ammo since 2004, and we have gone 10 years without one, partly because police officers don't deal with too many rifles in the field.
But most street officers wear vests that are pistol level, like up to .357 Magnum, .44 Magnum. That's what they're protecting themselves against, because that's the majority of their threat is a handgun versus a rifle round.
So if it's not a routine threat to police officers, nor armor piercing, why ban it?
The AR-15 has been very popular, and the only way if you can't take it away, the only way you limit it or restrict it is by taking away what you feed into it, and that's the ammo.
The proposal is specifically for the M855 green tip ammunition. The only difference between the normal 5.56 and the green tip 5.56 is the steel core in the green tip. The steel core does do more damage to certain things, but that does not classify it as an armor-piercing round.
Okay, now Tony, why do these rounds have a different color tip? Does it signify anything specific?
Yeah, it actually does. There are a number of different ways to distinguish ammunition. Some have red, blue, or black tips, and it's to signify different things like tracer, incendiary, or an armor-piercing round.
Okay, and now about the AR-15, how quickly can it shoot these rounds?
Well, the AR-15 is a semi-automatic weapon, and that means that you can shoot it at any rate that you want besides just holding the trigger. The AR-15 is not an automatic weapon, and those are illegal for civilians to own.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
They're gonna run today.
Each spring for over 5 decades, Brother Walter Kiefer enters the woods behind St. John's University.
A little bit. Now you can see there's about a quart out there in that pail.
To collect one of its sweetest secrets.
Last year we ended up with 316 gallons of syrup. This year will more than likely, hopefully, be in that range.
Each year, St. John taps about 1,200 maple trees and gets about 300 gallons of maple syrup.
So you gotta.
All 1,200 taps and 300 gallons are placed collected and produced on a volunteer basis.
As monastery got down in numbers and whatnot, we were hiring students or having students come out and do it. Now we're working just about basically off of volunteers, because you can never really pay a wage to do something.
If I stay on the main road, we won't even need the four-wheel drive today.
For Brother Kiefer, maple syrup may not be in his blood,
Clear one here.
but it does run deep in him.
In '62, they put out a help call to come and help collect sap. Growing up on a small farm, I figured this was part of agriculture, and I love the woods. I fell in love with the woods out here. The more time I can spend out in the woods, the happier I am. That's a nice statement.
St. John's has entered peak sap collecting season, and that will continue through early to mid-April. Anthony Matt, UTVS News. Clinton Village in St. Joseph has proposed roadwork project that could cost residents of the area up to 60% of over an $800,000 project. Like so many roads in Minnesota this time of year, this road in Clinton Village is ready for some work.
You know, there's a 30-year life for a street.
The roads in Clinton Village were put in 1982, and now may be the time to finally do some work to them.
And after about 15 years, you want to do some kind of preventive maintenance like the reclaim.
Although still in the proposal process, planning is nearly done and the price has been determined, and the cost to residents has been estimated.
The total project cost is about $800,000, $863,000. You know, so when we look at what the impact to the residents, you know, the residents are going to see anywhere from a $3,000 to $7,000 assessment.
One resident of this area seems more than willing to accept the cost of this project.
I think they need to do it. I mean, I know it might increase our taxes, but bottom line is there's potholes all over the road, and if it's more expensive for me to have to repair the struts of my car than to have to pay a little bit every month towards this road.
The damage to their cars is not the only concern for some residents of this area.
And then it has happened to me. I hit a pothole so hard on this block that your struts will damage your struts on your vehicle. So I mean, you're going to pay for it one way or the other. If you don't fix the roads, you're going to pay for it on the damage of what it can do to your car.
A meeting will be held on February 18th to discuss the merits of the road project with the city and the residents. If approved, the city would like to begin the project in the summer and hopes that it would be completed by the first frost of this fall.
Now, Anthony, I know you said that the cost could be up to 60%. How will the cost to residents be determined?
Well, the city will hire an appraiser to assess the roads and determine what percentage of value the project could potentially add to the homes. They would then charge the homeowners of the area that percentage. So if the appraiser determines that it adds a 50% value to the home, the residents will be on the hook for 50% of the total cost, and then the cost will be paid over a 10 to 15 year period.
Okay, now who pays for the rest of the cost?
Well, the city would levy for the rest of the cost. So the city will issue bonds, and whatever is left will get paid through a levy, and this cost would also be paid over a 10 to 15 year period.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.